Evaluate the indefinite integral. We have the integral for sine to the sixth cosine. Okay. We're going to do it by u sub. What you want to do is you want to let u be the sine. Now, you might wonder why the sine, why not the cosine? Well, it could be sine or cosine. It's whichever one. In this one, it's going to be sine because sine has the higher power. You want cosine doesn't have any power on it. So you want to go with sine. You want to do the one with power. I'll just say because sine has a power. So whichever one has a power, that's the one. You'll see why as we go. So now let's take the derivative. So, well, here, actually, let me tell you what we got so far before we do that derivative. So this integral then becomes over here the integral of 4 u to the sixth cosine x dx, right? Because this sine right here, that becomes u. So sine to the sixth becomes u to the sixth. Okay, so we have u and now we have x. We got to get rid of that x stuff. So let's go back and take the derivative. So du dx, derivative of sine is cosine. Multiply both sides by dx. Boom. So du is cosine x dx. So cosine x dx, that is du. So this becomes the integral of 4 u to the sixth du. Good, we changed it all to u. Now we can do the antiderivative. Right? That's what the integral and the du, the operators are telling us to do the antiderivative. The 4 just sits there. What do you do with the 6? You add 1 to the power, so that becomes u to the seventh. Then here, I don't even know why I scooted it over. It becomes u to the seventh, and then you divide by that 7. Right? And then change back to the original letter. What is u? What was u all along? It was sine x. Sine x to the 7. There we go. There's our answer. 4, 7, sine x to the 7, and they did the plus a constant for us. Yeah, so you always want to let u be the one that, so if cosine was to the seventh power and sine didn't, we would start with u equals cosine, whichever one has the power on it. That's the one you want to start with, because then when you do the derivative, you'll get the other one. Right? Let me show you real quick. If I started, let me just scribble down here the other way. If I started with cosine x, then when I did the derivative, I'll just do cosine be negative sine and the dx over there. The problem is you would say, oh, okay, well then this cosine, that's going to be u, right? And then you'd have 4 sine to the 6 u dx. And they say, oh yeah, but then you can do sine x. No, this is just sine x, not sine to the sixth. How am I going to do sine to the sixth? They will make a sixth power here. Well, then that'd be du to the sixth. What's that? See, that's not going to work. So I hope you see that would not work. So you've got to let u be the one that's to the power. So if sine is to the power, let u be sine. If cosine was to the power, 6, 5, 4, whatever power, then let u be cosine. Let u be whatever sine or cosine has power. And then the derivative will be the other one. And there we go.